Hello, and welcome back to Project Filmography, where I'm going through my list of movies that I like from 1920 to 2020, one by one, in chronological order, in collage form. By the early 1930s, sound had become more than a novelty. It was reshaping cinema itself. Filmmakers were experimenting with what voices, silence, and technology could express. In this episode, I'm looking at 5 films that capture that moment of transformation. All Quiet on the Western Front, Chienne, Cimarron, City Lights, and Frankenstein. Together, they mark the birth of modern cinema, where storytelling, style, and sound began to collide. Let's get into it. Lewis Milestone's All Quiet on the Western Front from 1930 took audiences into the trenches of World War I, not as an adventure, but as an unrelenting nightmare. Seen through the eyes of young German soldiers, the camera glides through mud, explosions, and silence, showing not glory, but disillusionment. It's one of the first sound films to use quiet as effectively as dialogue. The final image, a hand reaching for a butterfly, still feels like the moment cinema learned how to mourn. Watching it now, I see echoes of it everywhere, from Paths of Glory to Saving Private Ryan. It's as if every later war film is still responding to its clarity and grief. Jean Renoir's Chienne from 1931 explored moral decay through a quieter lens. A lonely accountant falls for a woman who manipulates him, but Renoir isn't interested in judging anyone. He's observing. As his first sound film, Chienne feels alive with experimentation. Characters interrupt each other, drift off, mutter, the messy rhythms of real life. Beneath that naturalism is something radical, empathy for people caught between love, lust, and self-deception. You can already see the seeds of what Renoir would later perfect, that mix of realism and compassion that would define his movie, The Rules of the Game. Back in Hollywood, Cimarron was all about scale. Based on Edna Ferber's novel, it spans decades of Oklahoma history, from the 1889 land rush to the rise of oil wealth. It won the Oscar for Best Picture, and while its representation is dated, its ambition was undeniable. Cimarron tried to capture America's restless myth of progress, its expansion, its prejudice, its contradictions. It's a film that feels torn between admiration and critique, just like the country it's depicting. And then, while everyone was chasing sound, Charlie Chaplin stayed silent. City Lights is a masterpiece of resistance, a silent film in the age of talkies, and somehow more emotionally articulate than any of them. The tramp's love for the blind flower girl, his friendship with the drunken millionaire, and that final, trembling smile, it's all communicated through movement, music, and expression. In the middle of Hollywood's growing noise, City Lights reminded me that the simplest gestures can still speak the loudest. And finally, Frankenstein. James Whale took Mary Shelley's 19th century novel and turned it into a Gothic vision for the machine age. Boris Karloff's creature, stitched together from corpses and given life by lightning, is both terrifying and heartbreakingly human. Whale's expressionist style, echoing the cabinet of Dr. Caligari from episode 1, gives the film its haunting beauty. What makes Frankenstein powerful to me isn't the horror, but the yearning, the human need to make something that understands us. From the horrors of war to the tenderness of a smile, from the illusions of love to the spark of creation, these 5 films show the early 1930s as a moment when cinema was learning to listen to itself. The world had changed, and film was no longer just a flicker of movement, it was a language. What strikes me most is how human these stories remain. Whether it's a soldier searching for meaning, a dreamer chasing love, or a monster longing for connection, they all share the same heartbeat. The technology may have evolved, but the emotions, loss, wonder, hope, are timeless. This is the turning point where film becomes fully alive, not just as art or as entertainment, but as reflection, a mirror for who we are and who we still are. Thanks for watching this episode of Project Filmography, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!